Okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to something a little bit different. As you can see, us for the first time ever, I think.
Faces.
Faces and names. I'm Kurt,
Yep. I'm Pete.
in case
Now
you
you
couldn't
know.
tell by our voices matching our bodies, but I don't know. Anyway, so as has been alluded to several times, as I scratch my side here, as has been alluded to several times in the past, Peter and I are both fans of professional wrestling, and we've kind of mulled around the idea of doing some wrestling related content in the past, and now with the Money in the Bank pay per view in the books, and us finally of having had the discussion, we figure we're going to go ahead and pull the trigger and do a Money in the Bank review.
Right. So the three big ticket items that we're going to look at today are the Money in the Bank match,
Yeah, the ladder match,
ladder match, the AJ Styles versus John Cena match,
the dream match as they called it.
the amazing match, yeah, and then the last match of the night, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns.
Yeah, we'll talk. I'll just go briefly over the undercard here. The show opened with the tag team fatal four way match, and it was there. It wasn't bad. Like there was some cool stuff in it, but there were some really weirdly botched spots, including a point where Luke Gallows just kind of forgot he was a wrestler. I mean, Big E's got Carl Anderson up on his shoulder, ready to give him the big ending, and Luke Gallows is just like, ha, 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 ha. Like, not sure what he's supposed to do here. Waiting for Big Kaz to come. I think Big Kaz was late on his cue, and Luke Gallows just stood there for like an awkward, what seemed like 6 seconds, but was probably more like two.
hmm Just you just stuck out.
Yeah, New Day got the win, so their tag team reign continues. They're probably going to break the record. I think the record's 303 days, and they're like 290 something.
All right.
Yeah, they'll have it. Like Battleground will come up, and I think they'll have broken the record. SummerSlam would be 1 year since they won the titles. I can't believe
Okay.
it's been a year already. Holy shit.
Yeah. Uh,
Um, then there was the. I mean, these aren't in the order they appeared on the card, but then there was the women's tag match. I feel like they had some time cut from them because of how much promo work was done for that tag team match. And you ended up getting just a regular Raw match, nothing special. Like the
mhm.
heels won dirty, and then Natalia snapped and attacked Becky Lynch, and
Oh,
that's
hey,
going to be the
Talia heel
next.
turn.
Yeah, that's going to be the next program. That frees up Charlotte for Sasha, who made her return to TV uh, last night on Raw to a monstrous ovation.
Nice.
So, yep, I suspect that Sasha will be getting the nod at though probably Charlotte will probably win at Battleground, and then Sasha will probably win at SummerSlam. And I don't know if they're going to do a Bailey call up the night after SummerSlam or not, but we'll see. Then there was Apollo Crews versus Sheamus, aka Headlock.match.
I caught snippets of that one.
Yeah, it was a lot of headlocks. Is basically how I can describe it. Sheamus would work heel and wear Apollo down with headlocks, and then Apollo would make his babyface come back and overtake Sheamus with a headlock. And then there was a lot of headlocks. Match ended with Apollo Crews getting a kind of sunsetty flip roll up for the free count. The announcers played it up like it was a fluke victory. Sheamus played it up like it was a fluke victory. This match did neither man any favors.
Good to know.
But we're probably going to see it again at Battleground, because reasons. Hopefully they work out the booking a little bit better than let's do all the headlocks.
Yeah, I like to see a little more variety. Maybe it was just like I don't know. Maybe they didn't have anything. They're like, oh,
I don't know.
we'll just do more stuff next time. But I don't know.
Sometimes you think you're telling a story, but you're just really having a boring match. I feel like
Yeah.
that happens sometimes. Let's see, what else did we have? We had Rusev versus Titus O'Neil. This match came in between the two main events. I think this was after the Money in the Bank ladder match and before Rollins versus Reigns.
Okay.
And I think like they told them to go out there until the NBA finals were over. Because I was watching both
Super
at the
Phil.
same. I was watching both at the same time, and it seemed like the instant the Cavs won, Rusev put Titus in the accolade and won. Cavs win, Cav win.
Cavs won. Rusev won. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that was suspiciously concurrent. This match was the greatest match. This match peaked 3 seconds into it when Rusev like taunted Titus's kids. So Titus is like father of the millennium, I guess, is how they portray him. And I'm sure he's a good guy. I mean, he kissed his kid on the mouth, which was kind of weird.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's a little.
Not really sure what was going on there. I mean, maybe that's normal. I was not a strong recipient of paternal affection as a child, so I don't know.
Trust me, it's still not.
Okay, so
especially not like in front of the nation.
Yeah, in front of everyone watching. Of course, everyone was watching the finals at that point, so it was like 6 people. So yeah, but after Rusev taunted his kids, they both like charged at each other like bulls as fast as they could. And these are two guys who weigh every bit of like 290 something pounds, and they both clothesline each other, and they both flip out of control and land hard, and it was awesome. And the match was all downhill from there.
Just they just blew it early.
Yeah, it was just a lot of filler from that point on, and it's like, okay, we want the main event to not compete with the NBA Finals, so let's have these guys go out here and do that.
Mm-hmm.
So our first main event of the card was the John Cena versus AJ Styles match. This match was really good. I feel like, I don't know, John Cena was noticeably tired.
Yes.
He had just flown back from China, so that was the thing.
Okay, that's what it was. Because he was out there, he was walking like a robot. I swear he had like a walk cycle out of a 16-bit era fighter.
Yeah. Slow motion walk cycle. Doom, doom, doom. But they worked it into the story pretty well. They made AJ seem like he was like greased lightning.
Yeah.
And Cena just couldn't hit him no matter how hard he tried. And that was the story of the match, really. Cena would try to do things, and AJ would get out of them, or Cena would miss, and AJ would take advantage. And AJ took a good 85% of this match.
Yeah, he came out really strong. I think one thing that kind of crystallized it for me, it was, if you want to go back and look, it was like at around an hour 30 where into the whole thing.
Right.
And AJ runs up and he does some sort of, I don't know what it was. It was like a scissor kick, and he comes down with the knee on Cena.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if that's a move. I don't know, but that kind of was the essence of the match, because he was like so dynamic in that one moment.
Yeah, AJ
He just putting so much energy into one of it, and just bam.
AJ proved he could get a good match out of anyone here. And Cena proved that he can carry his weight in a big-time match. Like, I'm not a John Cena fan. I do not think he's a particularly good wrestler. But if there's someone in the ring who knows how to work, he can carry his weight, Like, I'll never say that something he does adds to the match, but, like, he doesn't actively detract from the match, except when he uses the STF, because that thing looks horrible. Just across the face. It's a crossface. It goes across the face.
Even Styles made that look nice. The hair covered it up pretty well.
Yeah, his soccer mom haircut really camouflaged the ineptitude there. But the match was really good. This felt like it was the second match of a series, though, because they were countering all their stuff and kicking out of his stuff. John Cena kicked out of a Styles Clash. That move has beaten like one person, I think, in the entire time AJ's been in the company. This move that...
Oh, it's one of those moves.
Yeah, when he was in New Japan, though, they made it seem like it was the most dangerous move on the face of the planet. Because it did legitimately break two people's necks. I mean, the people who had their necks broken were idiots. Yeah, because, like, normally when you take a Styles Clash... Well, normally when you take a wrestling move, you want to tuck your chin so the back of your neck doesn't hit off the mat real hard.
Mm-hmm.
But with a Styles Clash, if you tuck your chin, that is the worst thing you could possibly do, because then you are coming right down on your head.
Right.
So I guess the two people he gave this to didn't realize that, and they ended up with broken necks, and it was ugly. But, you know, they built up that move.
Not tasty.
Yeah, they built up that move so much in Japan, and now he comes over here, and Chris Jericho kicked out of it, like the first time he used it on pay-per-view. John Cena kicked out of it. I'm sure a lot of other people, I'm forgetting, Roman Reigns kicked out of it twice in the same match. One of which was on a steel chair, but, you know, It's not my business. That's none of my business. So yeah, they went back and forth for a while. It was mostly Cena trying to do things and AJ getting out of them. Cena got out of the calf crusher. Styles kicked out of an AA. Cena kicked out of the Styles Clash, and then Cena went for another AA, and there was a ref bump. It was like the second.
Yeah.
No, this was the first ref bump of the night. There was another one in the main event.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a ref bump. It was a really weak sauce looking ref bump. Like, there's no way this guy would have been down that long after just like getting brushed by AJ Styles' shin pad. But there was a ref bump. Cena hit the AA, got the visual 3 count. Of course, there was no ref to count it. And then Anderson Gallows come down, hit the Magic Killer on Cena. They pull AJ on top. They revived the referee for their magic smelling salt hands. And ref counts to 3. AJ Styles is your winner. I don't really know. I mean, I liked the match. The match was really good. I'd say it's hard for me to call this the match of the night after what happened at the end, but like from a technical perspective, it was probably the match of the night.
Definitely.
And I know AJ Styles is a heel, and it's okay for him to win dirty, but you know, Cena's going to win the rematch at Battleground. Cena's probably going to win the rematch at SummerSlam. Why not just let AJ get the clean win? Unless they're going to surprise me. See, this is definitely going to be 3 matches like they did with Kevin Owens last year. But Kevin Owens got a clean win his first time against Cena, which was more credit than they've given Styles here. So, unless this feud like extends to like where it extends to like a feud for the belt they bring up for SmackDown, like the world title belt they give to SmackDown, because I've heard that both of these guys are going to be on SmackDown.
Oh, okay.
Which I feel like that's going to be the impetus of their match at SummerSlam. Like, they're going to have the match scheduled for Battleground, whatever. They're both going to get drafted to SmackDown. Then we're like, oh, we need a world champion. And then, I don't know if they'll run the match at Battleground as the world championship match or hold that off till SummerSlam. I would say they'd hold it off till Yeah, but you would think that about the Shield triple threat too, but that's not their line of thinking either.
Oh, maybe I would say, especially because the Shield triple threat. Well, we can't. I feel like we can't explain the Shield triple threat without going through the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Should we wait to,
yeah. We'll get to that, and then we'll talk a little bit more about that. So, yeah, it was a good match. I'd give it about 4.5 stars.
Okay.
I'd say that's fair.
I'd say.
Then we had the Money in the Bank ladder match. Chris Jericho versus Dean Ambrose versus Sami Zayn versus Alberto Del Rio versus... who am I missing? Cesaro. How can I forget about Cesaro versus Kevin Owens? This, as far as Money in the Bank ladder matches go, this was a pretty good one. There were a lot of cool spots, including an awesome one when Cesaro jumped off the ladder to do his little springboard uppercut off the second rope. That
Hmm.
was pretty boss.
That's pretty dope. Yeah, and just that was for me. This was the first time I actually saw Del Rio in a match.
Yeah.
It was really interesting. He definitely like a lot of energy and a lot of like I don't know. It's just a new style for me.
Yeah, he's got. I mean, a lot of people like him from his Lucha Underground days. I didn't watch a whole lot of him. I've never been super impressed with Del Rio's work. I mean, he's a good hand, but like all I can,
Hmm.
if someone asked me name Alberto Del Rio's moves, I'd be like, okay, well he's got his Insiguri, he's got his crossarm breaker, he's got the little super kick when the guy's on his knees, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember most of what I remember wasn't so much the spots as much as like him setting up the whole final, starting to set up the whole final act.
Yeah,
Right
with
there, and some of
the
the stuff he did with the ladders.
yeah. I mean, I don't dislike Del Rio. He's like I said, a good
No,
worker.
not at all.
He's had good matches before. I just like he's not a guy I think of when you're like name one of the best workers in the company or one of the most exciting guys in the company.
Right.
So there was a lot of back and forth like you'd expect in a ladder match. A lot of climbing the ladders, a lot of getting pushed off the ladders.
Mhm.
A lot of ladder bumps. Kevin Owens took a
Yep.
Michinoku driver right on the
Yeah, that
ladder.
was
That looked like it
brutal.
hurt. Yeah, and
Yeah,
for a guy who
Kevin Owens
like,
took some beatings in this.
yeah, he got thrown around. I mean, I guess he's got the extra padding to take some of these bumps, but that's a
But still,
fat
like,
joke for any of you wondering.
wow. Yeah, but no matter how like big you are, that's still gonna hurt.
Oh yeah, it's
That
gonna
stuff.
hurt like a son of a bitch. Um, yeah, so like Peter was alluding to, there was a point in the match where they had a ladder set up in the middle of the ring with the runs facing outwards at the corners, and then they set up two ladder bridges. And I was like, okay, this is going to be pretty cool. They're setting up for something sick. But what it ended up being was just everyone on ladders punching each other. And I was like, okay, that's a little disappointing. A little bit of a
Mhm.
Chekhov's gun sort of thing.
Yeah, they set it up and just like, oh, they're all lined up. There's
Yeah.
one here and then one here and synchronized punching.
Yeah, and then they moved to a spot where like everyone was on top of ladders, like pawing out the briefcase. That was neat.
Hmm.
Then eventually people got knocked off. There was a lot of teases. Sami Zayn had the match won about 5 or 6 times in the last 10 minutes.
Just
Yeah, and then it came down to Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose. Kevin Owens almost had the briefcase, but Dean Ambrose knocked him off. Climbed the ladder.
onto a ladder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
onto the ladder. That was another ladder bump he took. Ooh, that one was nasty too. Now that
Yeah,
I'm
just he was
thinking
just
about it.
splayed out. It was like, ah,
Yeah, dude, he's gonna hurt himself one of these days. You might need to take it easy a little bit. So yeah, Dean Ambrose pulls down the briefcase. He is your Mr. Money in the Bank, and and this should have been foreshadowing for what would happen later in the night. But the normally insane Dean Ambrose just pulls it down, keeps it at his side, is on top of the ladder, and just has a stoic look like I got plans for this shit.
I know. You texted me. He's like, you better cash this in.
Yeah, I'm like, I
Like, you
swear to
better.
God, if they Sandow his ass, I will be livid. If they have him fail to cash in because make Roman look strong, I will be so livid. But as we, that wasn't even a factor as we'll
Yeah.
get into here in the main event. So, Dean Ambrose had said all week that he was going to win the Money in the Bank match and he was going to cash in. And he won the Money in the Bank match, but I was like, they're not going to have him cash in now. That'd be weird.
Strange.
They're gonna have him hold it for a while. I feel.
Build
But
it up.
yeah,
Get the
have him do
tension.
his thing. You know, have him tease it a few times, like they do almost every year. So we move on to our main event, where Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins comes out to about a 70% positive reaction, despite being the heel in this match.
Yeah.
So he comes out. He's got his new gear. Looks pretty cool. He got his new Titantron. That was also pretty cool. And he gets in the ring. He does his thing. Roman comes out, and this man is booed out of the building.
Oh yeah. You could. It was wonderful. The audio mixing that
Yeah,
the audio magic they pulled off.
just cut off the crowd mics, and you can still hear the booing. It's bad. And then what was also weird is when we get into the match here, Roman worked heel this entire match. Like, he's just beating the crap out of Rollins. Rollins isn't getting any offense in. And I told Peter, I'm like, well, if wrestling logic holds, Seth Rollins is going to win this match. Because this is how it always goes. The babyface gets the crap beaten out of him, and then they pull off a comeback, and then they win. And sure enough, Seth Rollins started pulling off a comeback. Roman cut him off a couple times, got the heat back on him, did that really cool Splash Mountain powerbomb thing he does.
Yeah, that was pretty sick. Coming right down.
Yeah, and then
And then
Seth in one of Seth's comebacks, he got the Falcon Arrow, superplex into the Falcon Arrow spot, which looks really cool and is probably very hard to do on a guy who weighs as much as Roman does. Yeah. I understand he did it on Cena, but Roman has a good 15, 20 pounds on Cena.
just the lifting, yeah.
Yeah.
Right up.
And then Roman hit Seth off of a springboard attempt with a Superman punch in a really cool spot. Got a near fall off of that. Hit Seth with a spear after the ref was knocked out. Got the visual pin. Tried to hit Seth with another spear. Seth turned it into a pedigree, which was cool in principle. I mean, it didn't come out quite the way they wanted it to, I'm sure, but it still looked cool. There's no denying that. And then Seth picks him up, hits another pedigree, and pins Roman clean in the middle. 1, 2, 3. I could not believe it.
Ooh.
I was just
like, this is it. It can't happen.
Yeah,
we've been playing like the whole since I started watching earlier in the during the semester. The first match I watched was Dean Ambrose, Brock Lesnar, and Roman, and then that was the first time where we coined the phrase.
And then Roman won. Because Dean comes in, he's whacking everyone with the chair, and it's like all of a sudden Roman hits a spear and wins 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. And, like, that's how it's been for so many of his matches, where he just comes out of nowhere, like, hey, and I got it, guys.
Yeah, he gets the shit kicked out of him, it hits one spear, and that's it. And this time he hit one spear, but it wasn't it. And Seth pinned him clean, which this is the first time in, I want to say 2 years, that Roman Reigns has been pinned clean in the middle.
Oh, and what a break. Like, Seth Rollins gets the belt, and
crowd
everyone's
goes wild.
Like, so excited. It's like,
yeah,
we finally have a new champion. And then
Dean Ambrose music hits, and the crowd gets even crazier. And I'm like up on my knees. I'm like, oh my God, is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? And sure enough, Seth's like, come on, bring it on, bring it on. He's like looking at the entrance ramp. Dean comes in from behind, whacks him over the head with the briefcase, goes out, hands it to the referee, picks him up, hits Dirty Deeds, pins him 1, 2, 3. Dean Ambrose. Yes, Dean Ambrose. Dean fucking Ambrose is your WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and I could not have been more excited. And the crowd went nuts. Absolutely nuts.
Yeah, I would say so much of the wrestling community they just minds blown.
Because, he had come so close so many times, and they're just like, nope, you're not Roman. You're not getting the belt. And now he has the belt. And in one night, each member of the Shield was world champion within 5 minutes of each other.
Mm.
And we'll talk a little bit about Raw. So on Raw, they had a number one contenders match between Roman and Seth, which was maybe even a little bit better than the match they had on pay-per-view, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
certainly had more high spots. I mean, the story they told in this one was good. It was weird because, Roman's supposed to be the babyface and he worked heel the entire match, but that's neither here nor there. So they have the number one contenders match. It ends in a double countout, and Dean Ambrose is like, "Fuck it, I'll fight them both."
Oh, okay.
And Shane McMahon made the match. So at Battleground, we're getting the Shield triple threat, and I can't help but feel like they should have held this off till SummerSlam.
That would have been an amazing SummerSlam card.
Yeah,
That would have just been like
this is
you need a little time.
Yeah, this is a match that, this is probably the biggest match you have in the company right now. So, honestly, it should be a WrestleMania main event. But if it's not going to be a WrestleMania main event, it should be the main event of your second biggest show of the year, which is SummerSlam. And it wouldn't even have been that hard to do. Have Seth win the title at Money in the Bank. Have Roman get his rematch at Battleground, and then have Dean do his cash in after that. I don't care who wins; it'd probably be Roman because Roman wins. And then it sets up. You could have done the whole number one contenders thing, and then set up the same match for SummerSlam's main event. At this point, I don't know what you do at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
with the belt.
I don't know what they've got. That's what I was saying earlier with what were we talking about?
AJ and John.
Yeah, I say they better at least have that because they've already moved the Shield triple threat over. You don't want to that'd be so weird, but I mean, it might almost be just a classic, company move if they just saddle the events next to SummerSlam, adjacent to it, just with really good stuff, and then.
I mean, I understand you want people to watch Battleground, but Battleground isn't exactly a show that draws in. I feel like it just almost seems like a waste, Because, other than the Shield reunion, which is inevitable, it's going to happen at some point, this is the biggest thing you can do in the company. And it just seems wasted to do it on a B pay-per-view like Battleground. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Battleground. I mean, Brock Lesnar worked Battleground last year, so obviously they try to push this as being more than it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it all depends on who wins the triple threat match. I feel like it should be Dean, because you definitely shouldn't take the belt off him this quickly.
Yeah, that would be really dumb. I wouldn't see the point in that.
It's it's the whole feel good moment thing, and to get rid of the Money in the Bank booking element
so quickly.
Yeah, I don't
that's
know.
Almost like anti-hype. You don't want to anti-hype before SummerSlam.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, I can't. I'd like to say I can't imagine Dean losing at Battleground, but at the same time, Roman's in the match, and we all know how they feel about Roman. But hopefully they use this as a vehicle to execute the Roman Reigns Seth Rollins double turn. That would be the best possible outcome of this whole thing.
Dreamboat.
Roman being a heel, Seth being a babyface, Dean Ambrose being Dean Ambrose, and everything will work itself out. But I guess we'll see. We'll see next time when we talk about the Battleground results.
Definitely, because now it's on that. It's that's the key here.
Yeah. So after,
it's worth it to mention the draft too.
Oh yeah. So as I'm sure every wrestling fan who'd be watching this knows that the WWE Draft is going to be on Tuesday, July 19th on the first live SmackDown. And that could potentially throw a whole monkey wrench into all the booking for all the storylines. And I feel like maybe that's the reason they're doing the Shield triple threat at Battleground. Just in case, they split them up during the draft or something like that. They're gonna... I feel like they're rushing... I feel like they're not entirely sure how they're going to handle things post brand split, and so they're just like playing their cards now.
Right. They're just throwing things out, see
Yeah.
where it all settles.
So I mean, maybe this will all make sense after July 19th. Also, quickly mention that Bray Wyatt also made his return on Raw. He started to cut a promo. The New Day interrupted him, and it looks like we're going to get the Wyatts versus New Day for the tag belts. Which, like, where does that leave the club? An end zone cast? Are you going to feud them against each other? I mean, I can see you doing that, but it's kind of weird to move them out of the tag title scene so quickly. I'm worried about the
Hmm.
club. I really am. Because the last time three guys went 3-on-1 against John Cena, it was the Wyatt family. And it really hurt their reputation because Cena's Superman threw them all. And
Yeah,
they were never quite the same again. But we'll see.
really don't want to do that.
Yeah. So we'll come back at you guys sometime after July 24th with our Battleground recap and review, and then sometime after August 21st with our SummerSlam recap and review. And then we'll be back at school, and we'll be able to do these probably a little bit cleaner. So
Yeah,
that's gonna do it. That's
looking
gonna
more
do it
forward.
for us right now.
Yep.
Overall, Money in the Bank was a solid pay-per-view. The upper card delivered a lot. The undercard, you could cut an hour out of it, make this a 2-hour show, and it would have been probably as good as Takeover Dallas. But it's a 3-hour show, and you had 3 hours worth of matches on it. So overall, good show. If you haven't seen it yet,
Yep.
definitely go ahead and give it a watch. I'd say it's worth your time. And Dean Ambrose, at least for now, is your WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And my feet still haven't really quite touched the ground. Alright, anyway,
Right.
that's going to be it for us. We're signing off.
See ya.